160 pounds. Over the past year and a half, I have lost 160 pounds. Some of you have watched this transformation unfold gradually, and some of you have not seen me in quite some time. I know the attendance patterns of the Jews. And so the change is more stark. Weight loss is deeply personal. Discussions of our bodies and our health, while critical, is often challenging to access because of the layers of meaning and complexity ascribed to the subject. On the one hand, there is nothing more important. On the other hand, there is nothing more taboo. But no matter what, there is no escaping our physical realities. And as changes happen in our lives, we share them together. From those who are closest to us to those who may meet us at a further distance, we notice each other. We cannot help it. And I know many have noticed my change. I know this because as this transformation has unfolded, I have heard from people along the way. Some have said things carefully, kindly, awkwardly. Your face is looking healthier. We need to get you a new belt. Looking good, Rabbi. One person even scheduled a meeting with me to apologize after commenting on my weight loss, unsure whether they had crossed the line by even saying anything at all. Some have checked in to make sure I'm healthy and that this is not some unwanted outcome of illness or life challenge. Yes, this change was wanted. Yes, it is the result of intentional action, and yes, I am proud of the progress I have made. But along the way, I have learned a lot, not just about my body, but about what is possible both for myself and for others. Drastic weight loss is an odd experience to live through. There have been tangible shifts to my life as I have learned to inhabit this new reality. I get colder way more easily. Meetings and events where food is present require a different set of skills, planning, and expectations. Sitting in chairs for long periods of time is significantly less comfortable. But more than any of that, this journey has been about staying focused on a new way of being. The eating habits, the exercise, the discipline, the joy, the effort, the daily work of living in this body, of learning to live differently. It has not been easy. It has been emotional. It has been at times confusing, and as I have felt the change and progress, deeply, deeply meaningful. I want to say clearly, I was not deficient because of my weight. I was happy before, and I am happy now. I do not judge others based on body size. I know what it means to live in a larger body, to have that shape your experience, and I carry that empathy with me. But this weight loss, this new way of being, well, it feels like a miracle. I share all of this not for applause or to force you to adopt the habits I have. I share this because I've come to see this journey as something spiritual, something revelatory, something miraculous. And in that spirit, I want to talk about my belief in miracles. Not the kind that parts seas or drops manna from the sky, which is what many of us think when we hear the term. But the kind of miracles that grow slowly, that ask us to participate in their unfolding. The type of miracles that are happening around us and maybe even within us every single day. We can learn to see them. I believe in miracles because that is how I have come to understand this journey I have lived. I believe in miracles, and I want to make the case that I think you should believe in miracles too. The word miracle gets thrown around a lot. We use it casually. It's a miracle I found parking at services. Anyone say that this morning? It's a miracle we finished the project before the deadline. It's a miracle the souffle didn't collapse. But so often, when we use the term this way, we are not actually talking about miracles at all. We're talking about luck, good fortune, or the results of circumstances we are navigating. In Hebrew, the earliest word associated with miracle is nes. But in the Bible, nes doesn't even mean miracle. It means banner, a flag, a standard raised up high for visibility. In Isaiah, we read, when a flag, a nes, is raised on the mountains, you will see it. In Numbers, Moses lifts up the bronze serpent on a nes, a pole for people to look toward. It is only later in Rabbinic Hebrew that nes begins to mean miracle, building on that earlier sense of something lifted up, something that draws the eye beyond itself. Philosophical traditions, too, offer a range of ways to think about miracles. Aristotle and his intellectual heirs, including Maimonides, argued that God is the prime mover, that all things in the world are either directly or indirectly the result of divine causality. A miracle, then, is not a suspension of natural law, but an amplification of God's presence through it. Spinoza, by contrast, suggested that miracles are simply natural events whose causes we do not yet understand. For him, every miracle is a placeholder for ignorance. The event doesn't violate nature, it simply exceeds our knowledge. So where does that leave us? If a nes is something raised up, something we notice, perhaps the language of miracle points us towards those moments when the ordinary shines with extraordinary light. Maybe miracles are not hallucinations, cognitive errors, or comforting illusions. Maybe miracles are real, though not because they violate the laws of nature, but because they awaken us to a truth that was always there. My own transformation did not happen because I woke up one day with a new metabolism. It was the result of many things coming together to offer me a chance at a new reality. One element that aided my journey was a new type of medicine, a GLP-1. You've probably heard about them, Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro. They are medications that regulate hunger and blood sugar, developed for diabetes and increasingly used for weight management. After trying many different interventions over the years, I explored this option with my physician. I was fortunate enough to have the resources to undertake such a regimen, so I gave it a try. The medication allowed me to listen to my body in ways I never could before. It helped me shift my habits and gave me a fighting chance. Before long, I began to notice differences in my sustained effort. The number on the scale started to go down, and I began to see results that were more than just superficial. I adjusted my diet. I developed exercise schedules and routines. I experienced a transformation. I experienced a miracle. but not miraculous like magic, miraculous like revelation, like a path I didn't know existed suddenly appearing. But the medication didn't do all the work. Far from it. This journey has been about discipline, about change, about internal work and reframing, about learning to say no when I wanted to say yes, and yes when I wanted to quit. It has been about learning how to rest without giving up, how to care for my body with compassion, and live inside a new reality. This wasn't magic. It was 1,000 small decisions strung together across days and months, but it was still a miracle. And that's the point I want to make. Miracles are not a rupture in the laws of nature. They are a reclaiming of possibility. They are what happens when science and soul, effort and grace, human will and divine spark come together. In the face of skepticism and cynicism that guides so much of this world we live in, I believe in miracles. Of course, the desire to believe in miracles is strong. Why? Because the world is hard. The world is beautiful, yes. Astonishing, yes. But it is also deeply painful. There is so much suffering, so much that feels unfair, insurmountable, and broken. And in the face of that pain, what do? We look for signs, we look for hope. We think maybe there will be a miracle, but probably not. We look for a reason to believe and that healing is possible, that love can triumph, that peace can come, that loss is not the end of the story, that justice is not a fantasy, that goodness can still break through. Even people who don't believe in a supernatural God still use the language of miracles. Why? Because the idea of a miracle holds something powerful. It reminds us that reality is not closed, that change can come, that we are not as stuck as we think. Sometimes even the belief in miracles can sustain us. Without the idea of miracle, despair can too easily win. But with it, even if we never quite touch the miraculous, we are pulled toward the good. And that in itself might be miracle enough. But I believe miracles are real. So let's talk about how my miracle came to be. GLP-1 medications are not magical potions. They did not fall from the heavens, nor were they found in a pot at the end of the rainbow. They are the result of decades of medical research, beginning, believe it or not, with the study of a lizard's saliva. Scientists discovered that the Gila monster secreted a hormone that could be used to mimic our own body's signals for hunger regulation. That small finding snowballed into something remarkable. It took researchers years to isolate the compound. It took pharmaceutical developers years more to refine it, test it, release it. It took failure, persistence, teamwork, curiosity, and even after the medication was created, it took policy changes, clinical trials, and education campaigns for the drug to reach people like me. And even then, it didn't work unless I worked too. I had to show up, I had to move, I had to sweat, I had to build habits and break habits, I had to teach myself how to live again. It was a miracle, yes, but one that relied on human hands at every single step of the way. The same is true for most of the miracles we take for granted. Vaccines, electricity, airplanes, organ transplants, none of these things were possible even a century ago or a few centuries ago, and now we live in a world where they are commonplace. That doesn't make them less miraculous. In fact, I think it makes them even more so. Because what it shows us is that the miraculous and the human are not opposites. They are collaborators. The miracle may open the door, but we still have to walk through it and keep walking. That's what I've done. That's what so many of us do. And that's where faith meets reality in the footsteps we choose to take. Rosh Hashanah, this holiday, it's not just a holiday about introspection. This is also a holiday about miracles. We don't always name them as such, but they are there, woven into the Torah readings we return to each year. We read about Sarah, who laughs in disbelief when told she will bear a child in her old age. Her laughter isn't cruel, it's incredulous. She's in her 90s. The biology doesn't make sense, and yet somehow Isaac is born. It's a miracle. We read about Hannah, barren and brokenhearted, pouring her soul into prayer at the temple. She is so raw in her emotion that the priest Eli accuses her of being drunk. But she is not drunk. She is desperate. She is honest. And in her time, her prayer is answered, and she becomes the mother of Samuel, another miracle. And we read about Hagar, cast out into the wilderness with her son Ishmael, with nothing but despair. She places her child under a bush, walks away, and says, I cannot watch him die. But then the text tells us, God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. Well, was the well always there? Did it suddenly appear? The rabbis don't agree, but they do agree that the turning point is not the water. It's her eyes being opened. The miracle was not in the creation of something new. The miracle was in perception, in being able to see what had been there all along. These stories teach us something vital. Miracles are not passive. They emerge from deep places: despair, grief, longing, faith. They are not always about dramatic change. Sometimes they are about suddenly noticing what we had previously missed. That shift of heart, of awareness, of clarity is holy. There's a passage in the Talmud that has haunted and inspired generations of Jews. It says that when we stand before the heavenly court, we will be asked a series of questions. One of those questions is, Tzipita liYeshua. Did you look for redemption? It is such a simple question, but it cuts straight to the heart. Not, did you solve the world's problems? Not, did you live a perfect life? But did you hope? Did you believe that things could get better? Did you look for signs that healing might be possible? The Rav Nissim of Gerona, a medieval Spanish commentator, interprets this question to mean, did you live in expectation that redemption could come in your lifetime? Not in just some distant messianic dream, but now. And Rav Kook, the first chief rabbi of pre-state Israel, takes it even further. He notes that the word tzipita, did you hope, shares a root with sopheh, meaning watch person, a sentinel, someone stationed on the wall, eyes scanning the horizon, vigilant. To Rav Kook, hope is not a mood, it is not passive, it is a form of spiritual discipline. It is the practice of looking outward with intention, of expecting goodness, of preparing ourselves for it. And that changes everything. Because hope then is not some kind of sacred, because hope then becomes a kind of sacred labor. It's not something you feel. It's something you do. You act as if the future could be redeemed. You scan for it. You make space for it. So when we say we believe in miracles, we are not just dreaming. We are training ourselves to watch, to see, to act, to be the ones who don't just sit back and wait, but who stand alert, open to the possibility that the world is not finished becoming. When we take this theology and apply it to the world around us, we begin to see how radical it really is. because we know we live in a world that feels stuck, broken, fractured. We look at what's happening in Israel and we ache. We long for peace, but it seems so far away. So many lives lost, so much fear, so much trauma. Governments we disagree with. Families with empty seats at their tables, waiting for a day when this pain won't feel so present. The thirst and hunger for a better reality, one that lives up to the vision, hopes, and dreams of those who came before us. We must believe in miracles to see a way through. Here at home, we feel the weight of rising anti-Semitism, not some abstract intellectualization. It is real. It is showing up in our workplaces, in mayoral races, on social media, in graffiti, in threats, in fear. We have to believe in the possibility of miracles that might offer us a way forward. And of course, we see it in our domestic politics, the disdain, the division, the rage, the violence, the refusal to listen, the erosion of truth. We need a miracle to fix it. These miracles may not be sudden fixes, but slow turnings, changes in tone, new beginnings. The first glimmers of a world reborn. I believe that most of what a miracle is being able to see it. Because some of the greatest miracles we will ever know won't come with fireworks. They will come quietly. The new friendships we will find after a season of loneliness, the child who speaks for the first time, the body healing slowly, the habits long resisted that finally stick. These miracles don't make headlines, but they change lives. They are realities we will see in one another. You want to believe in miracles like me? Start here. Start with what is small and easily missed. Start with what grows quietly. Start with what pulls us toward one another, what opens our hearts towards each other. Because sometimes the miracle is not something new that appears. Sometimes the miracle, like Rav Kook taught, is that our eyes are opened to what is already in front of us. The strength we didn't know we had. The courage we didn't think we could access. The hope we thought we'd lost. So here we are, on the birthday of the world. The day we imagine creation begin again, and we ask, what miracle are we waiting for? What feels too far gone, too stuck, too painful in your life? Where do you feel like Hagar in the wilderness, too afraid to look at what might hurt? What well might be just outside your vision, waiting for you to open your eyes? Maybe it's a relationship that needs repair. Maybe it's your own health, your own heart. Maybe it's your relationship with Judaism, with the divine, with hope itself. Whatever it is, the miracle may already be in motion. The healing may already be possible. The future may already be calling you. But you have to look. But you have to hope. You have to act. You have to believe in miracles. This year, let us be the kind of people who make miracles, who look for them, who labor for them, who celebrate them. Because if I've learned anything from my own miraculous journey, it is this. The miracle isn't just in what we see. It is in learning how to see at all. Shana Tova.